Kung Fu is a way of life for many Chinese people. It provides entertainment, exercise, and religion. For some, it also provides a living. These two young men are film actors in Hong Kong. They are planning the choreography of a fight they will perform in a Kung Fu film. Their teacher, Master Chan, supervises to make certain that in their search for excitement, they remember the strict tradition of the art. However spectacular the action, it must conform to what the Chinese audience recognizes as good Kung Fu. The use of fighting techniques as entertainment has always been part of the tradition of Kung Fu. The spectacular battles of the Chinese opera made an easy transition into the Kung Fu films for which the Hong Kong cinema is famous. The Chinese audiences understand the differences between techniques and are excited by the skill of the performers. The fight sequences are like ballets. The aim is not just for the hero to win, but for him to defeat his opponent with elegance. Only Kung Fu students may perform the lion dance. This dance has been a part of every Chinese celebration for centuries. Even in sophisticated Hong Kong, the custom is still very strong. No shop can be opened or building completed without the lion and his orchestra to bring good luck and cast a favourable atmosphere over the event. On this occasion, the dance was performed on a local police station's fete day. The lion is cautious, suspicious of the crowds. It has to feel safe before it can eat an offering of green food, usually a lettuce. Beneath the lion's head, tossing the lettuce into its mouth with his feet, is a senior student of Kung Fu. He is the leading performer of the dance in his master's Kung Fu school. The school charges a fee to perform the lion dance, and the money is shared out among the students. The schools that have lions which are known to be lucky and that perform well can earn useful amounts. The reputation of the master of a Kung Fu school depends partly on the quality of his students' lion dance. It's the custom for masters to delegate much of the teaching to the senior students, but Master Chan enjoys involving himself in it. It is a long and complex dance. Each movement of the dancer controls different parts of the lion. The dance is designed so that when the mask is placed over the dancer, his personality vanishes and all his actions bring the lion to life. Although Kung Fu appears to be fundamentally a Chinese activity, there is an important Indian aspect to it. It's from India that the religion of Kung Fu came, and perhaps some of its fighting techniques. From about 400 BC, the ancient roads between India and China were used by Buddhist monks. Some of the Chinese monks found their way to this historic city of Kanchipuram in South India, and one of them is carved into stone in a 7th century temple. On the wall beside him are carvings of figures in fighting postures, probably the oldest detailed records of martial arts that exist. The kings of Kanchipuram held the Chinese monks in high honor, and a 6th century king built a line of pagodas in front of this temple as a memorial to a Chinese monk who was his friend. The journeys were not all one way. It is probably from this same city that an Indian prince set out to travel to China. He is now known as Bodhidharma, the founder of Zen Buddhism. He is revered by martial artists, and throughout China and Japan his portrait hangs in the training halls. The legends say that he traveled by sea and land into the heart of China, to a Buddhist temple built in a huge valley under the mountain that the Chinese think is at the center of their country. Shaolin Temple is now mostly ruined, but it does contain large frescoes painted in the 18th century that give an idealized picture of Chinese and Indian monks practicing martial arts together. Bodhidharma is given the credit for encouraging the monks to learn martial arts. He thought that in their untrained state they were unhealthy and lacked the strength to meditate. However it came about, there is no doubt that this mixture of fighting and Buddhism is of major importance in the martial arts today. Then, as now, men learnt destructive fighting skills balanced by the peaceful morality of Buddhism. For much of the time, the monks were able to live in peace, but at least twice they fought to help emperors to the throne of China. Many times they were closed down by emperors who feared their fighting skills. Each time that happened, they went underground and spread throughout China. From China, the art of Kung Fu has traveled to Chinese communities throughout the world. The techniques are still practiced in mainland China to a high standard. However, it's in the Chinese communities outside the mainland, like Hong Kong, that the full range of traditional activities still exist. Some of these are associated with the triads, the secret Kung Fu societies that organize criminal activities, protection rackets, prostitution and drug smuggling. Of course, this is not true of all Kung Fu masters. Master Chan is an upright member of the Chinese community, highly respected for his charitable activities. He hasn't missed a Rotary Club meeting for 20 years. Like so many Chinese, he starts his day exercising to receive the benefit of Qi, the life-giving energy of the world that they believe is especially concentrated under trees in the early morning. He came to Hong Kong from South China about 60 years ago and learnt Kung Fu when he arrived. He is typical of the best of his generation of masters. He starts his day at about 5, always exercising in the same place. He returns to his surgery and opens for business at about 6. There are always likely to be patients who damage themselves during the night and who need repairing before they go to work. The shops around him don't open until about 10. Master Chan is famous for his skill as a bone setter and his ability to ease painful backs and soothe bruises. His surgery is a typical Chinese room, cluttered with the souvenirs of a lifetime. From here, he maintains a constant telephone link with his friends throughout the colony. Since he's lived